All right, what's up, folks? It is May 16th, 2024, and we're just gonna review. We're gonna review what I did today. So what I did today was I put on. I actually wasn't here for most of the day, and you see, I didn't even have this screen. You know, this is the workspace that I always have going, so that it captures the bid and the ask and everything that's going on. So I didn't even have that running until, I don't know, sometime this afternoon. You see here about 2 o'clock or so. So I didn't even have that running, which is unfortunate because I didn't capture like what really happened throughout the day, the bids and the ask and the size of orders and all that kind of stuff. So I don't have any of the info. However, I haven't even really been analyzing it as much, but I do need it now. Well, I have days or past weeks, maybe a month or two worth of data that I could really pull up and look at if I wanted to. But what I did today was I set up the script, right? So one of the scripts that I had from yesterday, I set it up, and you know, coming up with the order tickets and the order sends order, the bracket orders, coming up with all that, filling in all that information, and then applying it to one of the strategies. I let it run today. So this is what happened. It didn't turn out great, but it's something I can work with. So I didn't even know that it took. Did I know it took these couple of trades here, 230? So this is what happened. It really didn't find any trades to take from market open all the way up until 12:05, something like that. So at 12:05, it took a trade here, and this is on the 5-minute time frame. So it took a trade here on this candle. It took a trade here. It took a trade here, 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 and then one last one here. So this is what happened. If you look closely at this, you see that it entered and then exited. It entered, pretty much immediately exited. It entered, exited, entered, exited. Entered, exited. No, what did it do? I think it did. I think it entered once here, then exited. And so what I ended up doing was I looked over at the script, and if you watch any of the videos recently over the last couple of days, you'll know that one of the things that I came to realize is that you have to be very cautious of, and it got me again. You have to be cautious of when you're setting up your bracket order that you have a minus, right? So for the limit price for the top side of my bracket, it's a limit offset, which is put in as an input, and then the bottom side of the protection side of the bracket, stop price offset, should be a minus stop offset. Now you can modify it. You know, you could be stop offset times, or times 0.75, so it'll be 3/4 of the offset. But either way, it needs to be a minus. I did not have a minus on here earlier, It was just offset, limit offset, and then it was stop offset. So these were essentially the same. Wait a minute, now that I'm looking at this, limit offset and stop offset. Okay, yes. All right, so here I have the limit offset and I have the stop offset, but they're both set to 12, and I think, yeah, even on the strategy they were set to 12. So essentially this, without me having this set at a negative, this was saying that the bracket should be the same, you know, for the protection as well as here. So essentially, as soon as the order went in, it exited. Now, I've never really spent much time. Oh, and then so I corrected that like right around here. And as soon as I corrected that, it took an entry position and then it exited down here. So let's look at this on the 15-second time frame. So I'm going to actually disable the automation right now, and then we'll go to the 15-second time frame, and then you can see better what happened. Today was a wild day, though. It looked like a wild day for trading. Come on. There we go. Uh-oh. Wipe zone. All right, so you see here on the, well, we gotta go back, gotta go back. All right, you see here, we entered, exited, and then I think this is right around the time that I changed the strategy to so that the offset is negative. And so it took a position, and then it, you know, it got stopped out. But look at that. It stopped out. It got in right here, and it got stopped out. It was 12 ticks, so that's 3 points. You know, 4 ticks a point. It got stopped out right here, right at the bottom. Right at, I mean, it could have went, what, another tick, and then that was it, and then it would have been okay, and then it would have came up and took profit, surely. So anyway, that's the name of the game, though. But the name of the game is a numbers game, right? So you got to be consistent. And it's a numbers game. So anyway, it would have, so it got in here 29.75 and got out here 26.75. All right, so that's 3 points, and that's what we said. That's what it was set up for. So it actually executed perfectly. It executed exactly the way I set it up, which, you know, is my fault because I didn't set it up quite right. All right. Let's move on to the next piece, which is the just reviewing your trades. All right, so again, guys, this is just a sim account. Okay, so until I get all the bugs worked out, I'm not gonna let her rip on the live account. But I'm getting close. All right, so spending a little bit of time looking at this. This is, you know, this is how you want to read your, you know, your order list. So over here you'll see that it says entered. I mean, because you see all these dates and times, and you're trying to figure out, well, you know, these having a 225 23rd, 225 34, 227 41. But if you see from here, 34, 34, 34. All these three orders happen at one time. They're all entered at the same time. How are they entered? They were entered off of this buy order. This buy was when the condition was met, you bought, and then you had 2 sell orders as a bracket. Well, these sell orders both filled or canceled at the same time, 227.41. So remember, the orders got started at 225.34, 225.34, and now the bracket went into position, and it wasn't until about 2 minutes later that an exit happened. Now, when one exit happens, the other bracket order, the other order within the bracket cancels, right? So which one filled and which one canceled? They're both sell orders, but this one filled. Remember, at 26.75, it was a stop at the bottom. So you stopped. And this one got canceled. It just says you are out. You are out. So that's how you look at that. I had a few other interesting things come up though, but I can't duplicate it right now. So once I can, then I'll come back to you. I was getting an error that said not enough data. So I was trying to make one of my other strategies, one of my other indicators into a strategy, but then it was saying not enough data. So I don't know what that was about. We go to trying to freeze up on me or something. There we go. Okay. It's not where I wanted to go anyway. And every time when I click back off of it, it just kind of has this long lag or something. So I don't know what that is. And the strategy is off. It's got to be something. All right, so if we go to view, and then is the events log? Yeah. See, it says not enough data. I was trying to optimize. Maybe there just weren't enough trades. When I was trying to optimize, there weren't enough trades to optimize it with. I don't know. Okay, and then the last piece about the strategy, like I said, make sure that when you put your offset in, you have a negative there. I let this thing run all day, and I was going to be excited to see what kind of trades and everything that it took, and then came back to find out that I just had one operator wrong. I guess it's an operator. I did make a flatten order, right? So this is an order. So if it's the last bar on the chart and the time is greater than or equal to 15:55, so if it's a 5-minute bar, then it would happen at 15:55. If we put this on the 2-minute interval, then it would happen at 15:56. If it was on the 1-minute interval, it happened at 15:55. But if that happens, then we want to make sure that the flatten account here is the account ID, the string that we set up that we want to use for our trades. And then we're going to look to see if PP, the position provider, contains a position. If it does, then we're going to make the quantity, because for whatever reason, heaven forbid, I mean, I'm only trading one contract at a time, but heaven forbid, somehow something got off track, and now you have 10 contracts on, then you want to make sure that whatever you sell is the entire position before the end of the day, right? So you don't get auto liquidated for going beyond your daytime margin rates. All right, so you want to find out what is the quantity of your current position. Current position is going to be index of 0. Quantity is going to be whatever the quantity is. And then I just did a switch, which has two cases. One case being true, one case being false. And the switch is automate, which is an input that I put in. So if I say that I want it to automate, then automate is going to be true. And then we're looking for this condition. We're looking for the actual live live position. If I say I want it to be false, then we're looking for average entry price. And I probably don't even need this, because I'm doing this because I need to be able to, you know, optimization is important. So, but I don't think that you can optimize if you don't have a, I don't know, we're going to try it here now. I don't think you can optimize your strategy if you have order tickets. I have all these order tickets, so I don't think I can optimize my strategy with all these order tickets. One thing's for sure is that you can't put in, yeah, I think when it puts in the order ticket, it's going to put it in now. It can't put it in the past. So when it puts in the order ticket, even though you're on a sim account, it's going to put it in for now. So once you get all these, that's what I was having. I didn't put if last bar on chart, right? So I didn't have if last bar on chart on here. And so once this condition was true, it was taking all those potential entries. There were like, the chart is like 15 days long. And so there were, I think there were 9 potential entries. And so it took all those 9 potential entries, instead of entering back on yesterday and the day before, instead of entering a position back then, which we do with our optimization, it took all those 9 entries and entered them right now. Because I'm talking about order tickets, you can't enter it in the past. I don't know. Let's just see. Let's because today I wanted to let this thing play out. So today is done. So let's turn on the strategy, which was automation template. We're going to turn it on, and then we'll see if we can optimize. I think not, but let's see. It will be very nice if you can. All right, so we're getting some errors. Account ID and call to method account is invalid. Argument account ID and call method account. I'll change this to 237478 9F. Oh. Parentheses. And double click on it, and then go back to optimize. Errors this time. No errors. Oh, it's still working. Usually doesn't take that long. Usually it's just like boop. Yeah, see, it says no trades generated. And we know that some trades were generated because it literally generated trades for today. So yeah, it is not looking like he can go back in time on that. So you need to take essentially what is your, like I say, I don't know. I mean, I know that I can program it so that it can, so a switch can switch it from using order tickets versus using just general buy and sell. So I think I'm going to have to do that because I need to be able to optimize from the same screen instead of making a whole new strategy and then trying to yeah, I don't want to have to make a whole new strategy and then recreate it just to automate it. So because the main thing would be that when we get down here to orders, instead of using, and that's why I just kind of muted this out or commented it out instead of deleting it. I was like, because I probably have to come back to it. So essentially, when all this is true, it needs to not be last bar on chart. And when all this is true, then you're just going to buy. And when you're in a position, then you'll set the stop. But then you're not going to do this either. I don't know, man. It's I don't know what the easiest way to do this is going to be. So I'm going to have to play with this and just kind of think of some things. You know what? I think if all this isn't using last bar, so it's fine. All these use last bar, but I won't need them if I'm not automating. As long as I'm not as long as I'm not using an object like account provider or positions provider, as long as I'm not using an object that hasn't been declared. So what I could do is I could just take this information here. Yep, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take this and cut it out, put it down here, and then I'm gonna take this and cut it out and put it down here. And then this is going to be a new begin. It's going to be a new coding sequence, because this is what we need for our strategy, for our optimization. So in order to come into this, we need automate to be false. So we need if, and then we also need an end of day. If time is greater than or equal to 1555, then sell EOD this bar at close. All right, and so if automate is equal to false and trade equals true, then we're going to do all this. Okay, so this is our strategy area. Allows us to optimize in a historical back test field. Okay, and now this up here does not. Okay, so how far does this one go? this begin to end. If last bar on chart, then begin. All right, so we're going to say if last bar on chart and automate equals true. We can technically take this out, but I'll leave it for the time being. And I can put if trade equals true also. And trade equals true, because trade equals true is just the condition that says that our condition is just the variable that says our conditions have been met, right? So if we're on a live bar and no. If we make it so that trade is equal true here, and that's the only way that we can get into the rest of this down here, then we would not be able to get into the flatten. We'd be able to get into the creating the order sends order, and that's fine. That'll create the order as well as the bracket order, but then we wouldn't be able to get down here into the flatten order, or the final exit order of the day. So we don't want this here. All right, so then begin. I need all this. I'm just needing a lot more organization, because this is a lot to keep up with. I'm already lost on the begin ends. This begin goes down to there. Okay, so this begin this should be like that. All right. Yeah, so last bar on chart and automate equals true. Yes. All right, I think that will do it. Let's see how many errors we get. Okay, so we have an error here. Then begin. So this is our begin end here. Shucks, I feel like I have some glasses on my head, man. All right, buy this bar at close, then begin. So begin to end here. That's fine. And then this we will automate equals false and trade equals true. Actually, this, just like up above, this needs to be here. If trade equals true, then we're going to buy this bar at close. Automate equals false. Then we're going to we're going to come into all of this down here. If trade equals true, then we're going to buy. Yes, counter A equals 1. Wait a minute. Here's an end here. Then buy this part. Then begin by this. Then trade equals true. Then begin by this bar at close end. Plus, we're making counter A equal to that. And then counter A if counter A is greater than or equal to 2 and the average entry price is greater than 0, then begin. What? Sorry, I was holding it too long. All right. Then begin. All right. Now this is coming into our sale statements. Okay, counter A greater than or equal to 2, then begin, set stop share, end, and then this lives on every bar as long as automate equals false, that, and then end. I feel like it still says that we have a end that's missing. Right? Where's the... Oh, no errors. Okay, so that was good. All right, good. So that's it. Okay, well, fingers crossed. We'll come back over here. Oh yeah, it worked immediately, right? You see all these pop up? I think. All right, so we need to go in here and we need to edit the study. We need to change that automate to false. Automate is already false. Good. So now with automate being false, we ought to be able to optimize, because now we're not using live bars. Boom. It's working. Okay. All right. However, not looking great here. Of course, B beta was not ever intended to be used on the 15-second time frame. So that's going to be the issue there. This is what it's showing. B beta. No. All right, so let's move this back to the 5-minute time frame, and we're going to move it back to ESM24. I don't know why it's so slow right now. Why I got this little bit of lag with everything I do. Peculiar. Very peculiar. All right, is it done? All right, maybe just because I have so many orders on this chart, I'm gonna get rid of this for the time being. All this data is saved, right? So I have it streams to a file. So, you know, but I do want to take a look real quick. I enjoy looking at these numbers here. I made this little volatility indicator here, and when you get these high numbers like this, it tends to the chart tends to reverse. So it's also indicated down here. These numbers are down here in a plot form, but you see how these numbers are 416, 84, 86, 146, 178, 192, now kind of kills back out to 30, 46, negative 36, 498, 20, 112 down to the bottom here, right? 112 down to the bottom. 74, 114 down to the bottom plus a rejection. Now when I get like high numbers like that, like the 114, it tends to reverse. See all these numbers, 40, 40, 44, 48, 10, 20, 76. They're not, you know, they're kind of close in the cluster. But then when 20, 48, 42, 112, right? 112 to the bottom side, 114 to the bottom side, it's outside that cluster. Right, see this red dot outside the cluster, and it's holding that overall level, and then from there it moves up. So I'm probably going to end up putting together a script that involves that, you know, I call it my volatility index. So look for that in the coming weeks. Save changes, yes. All right, what happened for the Discord alerts? I don't think it was great today. I don't think it was great on the scripts that have worked well on past days did not work great today. I think we had news at 8:30, right? So here's the 8:30 news candle, and then from that, because it was a nice move up from yesterday, huge move up, and then just steadily climbed. We climbed to new highs, right? So the B betas yesterday worked okay. This one you would either got chopped out or stopped out. This one moved up. This one was okay, moved up. And then today, this first one, I think it was actually on this candle, so it closed here at the top. So this would not have been a great, and I probably need to make this B beta a bearish candle instead of a bullish candle. Bullish candle needs to be a bearish candle, but either way, you would have got stopped out on this one. You know, the chart did move up though. This one would have got stopped out and it just moved on down. This one here, you know, I don't know. Probably would have got stopped out because, you know, this dropped down not only once but then twice. So, you know, before going back. And again, B beta is just a pullback. Typically, it was kind of designed as a pullback within a bearish trend. So, and this is definitely a bearish trend, and so it's just a pullback. It's just a pullback. So you're not expecting large moves. All right. Scalp short, 2-minute time frame. I have to make myself a couple notes. Scalp short worked here at the end of the day. It worked here. Again, it's just a scalp. It wouldn't have worked here. It did work here. It did work here. It wouldn't have. No, because it would have been down here. It would not have worked here. Okay, so scalp short is about half and half. But with the right risk to reward, you come out on the positive side on that. So let's see, where were we at? We were back at random scripts, trying to look and see what kind of equity curve we get. We had to come off 15-second time frame. We needed to go. I thought I came off of it, and it was taking so long. I must have something on here that's really running down the automation template is running on here. Is that right? All right, we're going to turn that off there. We'll just let it run here. Automation template. See how long it's running. It's only 2 days back. And what kind of scripts do we have on here? Average true range, that chart trading. That's fine. So let's go to edit studies, strategies. All right, we can turn this off because we actually just want to see what we can get out of optimization. I got to change this chart first. We need to change it at least to the 5-minute time frame. I don't think the B beta really responds to much else other than the 5-minute time frame. Okay. Well, I did want to make another little script really quick, but I spent much more time on this than I thought it would. Okay, B beta. You got in right there, and then you got stopped out on the day. Okay, I need to turn this off because this is the trades that were taken during the day. And I don't need to see all that. And then this needs to be at ES instead of MS, instead of micros. Okay, so this is what, man, that's awesome. So again, we changed that strategy, and now we've got this strategy where we can simply turn it on to use tickets by making automate equal to true, or we can turn it off and it will be in like back testing historical strategy optimization mode. Just with, I mean, it took me like what, 5 minutes to change that. All right, so now we can optimize it. And we can make sure that our input numbers are right before we start trading on it. Okay, but obviously what we got going on here is does not appear to be profitable. If we would go to the equity curve, it would look like that. Now I chose this strategy last night because I looked at the curve on something and it looked really good. So now as I'm looking at it, I'm not able to find those same numbers. So let's move it to a 40-day back period. Okay, so right offhand, it looks like that. And like I said, as I was looking at it this morning, before I actually start to automate it, I was looking at the curve and I couldn't find a curve where it looked great at. So, but then too, I couldn't get the optimization to work as it should. So I said, you know what? I'm just gonna let it run for the day and I'll figure it out later. So now we ought to be able to optimize, and we're not optimizing the ticks. We're not optimizing the ticks, the offset here. We got to optimize the stop loss one here. And I'm not really sure how I set this up in terms of what it is. Yeah, but that's terrible. This is not looking good. This is looking really bad, actually. So, but you see here, it would have bought, would have stopped out here, would have bought, would have stopped out here, or taken profit here, bought, taken profit here. So it would have stopped out once, twice, 3 times a day, and taken profit once, twice a day. Based on what we're looking at right here, with whatever inputs it says, it would say that the input settings would be 0.4 stop loss, take profit 2.8. So you know that ought to be a roughly what 1 to 7 risk to reward kind of thing. So I guess you're having, yeah, but either way it's not profitable. So no need to, you know. Yeah, I pulled up one of the strategies yesterday and it was profitable. So, or maybe I just did it on a short time frame or something, or maybe I did it on a different time frame instead of 5-minute time frame. Maybe I did it on the 1-minute time frame, but something's different, because I wouldn't have put this on for it to be is terrible. Okay, maybe this was it, right? So what did I changed it to 20 days back, right? And so if you look at 20 days back, this is the curve, right? So, and I could deal with that. So maybe that's what it was. But either way, that just goes to show you that in different market conditions, you're gonna have different results. So I just changed it to 20 days, but I didn't optimize it. So let me go and optimize it. And those numbers might not be 0.4 and 2.8. They may very well be different numbers. It may look a little better, a little worse. Okay. So that's what it is, optimize. And again, you know, not terrible. However, I know we got a couple entries for beat beta on yesterday and they disappeared. So where'd they go? The mysteries of coding. Okay, but I'm less interested in what the curve and everything looks like. I'm more interested in the fact that I'm able to put together the code so that we can so that it works, and so that we can just drop our strategy in, and we can have order tickets entered for, like I said, the OSO order ticket, which allows us to put in an entry, and then it has a bracket order for exit, and then as well as I have a flattened order at the end of the day, so that we get out of any position, so we escape being liquidated for margin violations. And then the other thing is that we've got a switch on here that allows us to switch whether or not we want to use this for automation, or if we just want to use it for back testing. And to use it for back testing allows us to optimize and find out what the optimal values are in terms of risk to reward and that kind of thing. So, you know, we're on the way. We're on the way. We're on the way. I don't know if I want to. Do I want to try to make a real quick code right now? Anybody interested in coding anything? Alright, this is the 1 minute time frame for B beta. That's interesting. But if you can't go back more than 10 days, then I don't know. I don't know how valid it is, right? So I make codes all the time. So maybe you just have to make new codes every 10 days, right? Maybe you need to make them every week for the beginning of the week and run those codes, and then come up with a new code at the beginning of the next week. But when you put that out for 50 days, now you get this, right? Garbage. But for that 10-day period, or whatever that period was, it looked okay. Average trade is still negative $2, so it's still gonna be a flop. All right, so like I said, now that we got all this together, what I want to do, I need to modify this a little bit more, take some stuff out. But what I want to do is I just take this file, I want to save it as a template. I want to save this as automation template. That way we can, you know, do various things with it. And then what I need to do is come in here, and I'm gonna leave all this the same. And then here, orders, I can leave that the same, because I'm still going to be using the OSO and the bracket order. Leave that the same. But when I get down to the conditions, this needs to come out, and then I can just drop in whatever new condition I have, or the indicator I have, the strategy that I'm kind of thinking of. I'm just going to drop it in here, so it'll go right in here. But then I need to make sure that the word trade is used as my condition word. Trade should be a true false. So I think I deleted too much. I deleted all those variables, which is fine because I have new variables for whatever new script I have, but trade needs to stay. Because that's a part of my template. So then I'll just delete the rest of this. And so we'll just real quick, we'll put something together, and then we'll just look and see how it works. All right, and then we'll make sure that it does like it's supposed to. All right, and then we need the end down here. Okay, so I verified that so that there's no errors. Good deal. So let's All right, I'll be right back. Oh, Lord. Case of the muted mic. All right. No, I was just saying that the coming up with, like, programming is to me is like the fun part. The most difficult part is coming up with unique and novel ideas to program. But I do really enjoy coming up with new ideas. It's just not something that you do, right away. It takes time. And I don't think anybody really wants me to come up with anything on the spot super great anyway, because they would just use it and just make a lot of money. Nobody's interested in that. All right, so this area in here, 1, 2, 3 times a lady. This one kind of did a 3-time thing too. 1, 2, 3. Higher volume on the third touch. Not higher volume on the third touch. All the touches were above the 9-period moving average. All the candles were above the 9-period moving average. I think I see something. I can try to program. So I'm looking at this area here, and you see we've got, well, I don't know. You see, like these 3, boop, like boop, boop, boop. 3 tops. This is a congested area, right? So there's a lot of overlap here. There's some overlap here. There's not much overlap here, but they're long bars. But all of them are over the 9-period moving average. Maybe that's what I'm looking for. Can I code that? That would be interesting. And then here, you're above the 9-period moving average. Here, this one is above, this one is above, this one is above. So they're all swing highs of at least 2 candles, and they're above the 9-period moving average. But this 2, 3. Over the 200-period moving average. All right, it's going to look something like this. Actually, I can't talk while I do it. I've got to listen to my music. I'm sorry. All right, so what I was thinking here is that we want to, so what I really want to do is I want to take these swing highs here, and then I want to get the linear regression of these 3 dots. I don't know that I can do that. I mean, I should be able to do that. How do you get the linear regression of... Well, maybe you can't, because you got to know what the distance is from one to the next. And then if you were to do linear regression that way, then what do you put in the middle of those? Do you use the same number? So you have this high here, and you have this high here, and you have this high here. From here to here, what number do you use to put in linear regression? Do you use the same number, or do you use 0? What do you use? How do you get a linear regression to there? Because I imagine this linear regression line would, between these 3 points, between like point here, here, and here, I imagine that line would look something like that. And then I want to know that slope, right? And I want to know that all these are happening above the 9-period moving average. So, linear regression. I gotta play around with linear regression a little bit more. Maybe, yeah. Yeah, I mean, you'd have to know the distance between them and either put a filler in or something. But what my attempt down here was to take those swing highs and just go back 10 bars. Well, I guess it's putting 0 in there, because if you don't have swing, no, it's putting -1. If you don't have a swing high, then the value of the swing high is actually going to kick back as -1. So let me try it one more way. Let me say swing high. Let's say if swing high is greater than 0, then swing high equals swing high, else if it's not greater than 0, else swing high is equal to what swing high was a bar ago. And now it's going to take now instead of putting -1 in these ones in between, it's going to use the same value that it had prior. So let's see how this line changes. Changed a lot, but is it useful? So now when we get to the top, we got a bubble up here, we got a bubble here, we got a bubble up here. It went down here, which is real peculiar, because we're not looking for swing lows at all. Oh, I know, because this, I think because this line is flattening out. Linear regression slope. No, well, the slope should be, if the slope was flattening out, it would be closer to 0, not down here. I guess because we got this one swing high that came in here, and that swing high brought this line down aggressively. And it brings it back up. Now what happens over here when we get this next drop? Nothing much. Yeah, so again, I think this is the programming piece, right? So this is coming up with creative ways, novel ideas, novel ways to look at the market, and then just being able to put it into a program. So I got kind of the programming piece down. So now I can spend more time coming up with novel ways to look at the market and then just trying to program it here. So but I'm not sure that this did it. But if we just wanted to take 3 swing highs above the 9-period moving average in succession, let's try that. Let's say, so we've already, so this right here, I think it's a flop. We'll just leave this one alone. But yeah, I'll just erase it. All right, so for x equals 0 to 3, because we're just to 2, because we're just going to look at the 0 index, first index, second index. We're just going to look at the past 3. So for x equals 0 to 2, begin. We're going to check to see if all 3 of them are over the 9-period moving average. If all the SHs, the swing highs. Or I think maybe we should use the while statement. Let's try the while statement. I haven't used that in a while. While. I really haven't used it in a while. While. I'll put over. No. Over 9. While over 9 equals true. So for your while statement, you have to have a statement that allows it to run. So this will be the over 9 starting out will be true. Okay, so while over 9 is true, when it comes into the statement, it's already true because we said it's true up here. So while over 9 is true, we're going to do what? While over 9 is true, and I don't know if I need a semicolon there or not. While over 9 is true, I think I need a semicolon. Begin. If the v hold dot at x is greater than xa9, the 9-period moving average, then over 9 equals true. And so what do you do after you check that first one? Then you got to add 1 to x. So x plus equals 1. So also when we come into this statement, we need to make sure that we set x is equal to 0. So it captures that 0 index. And then when it runs the next iteration, it'll add 1 to it, come back through here, and it'll be index 1. Okay, so while over 9 is equal to true, and x is less than or equal to 2. Got to be careful with these while statements, because if you don't have, if it's not able to exit, then it will run an infinite loop. So for this particular statement, I know that we're going to get x equal to 3 at some point, so that'll allow it to exit. However, we have an AND statement. We have an AND operator here, so we're going to need for over 9 to also be true. And over 9 may not be true on that last iteration. So we better put OR. Yeah. And so by the time we get done running these iterations, when we get to the second index, so we get through 3 versions of the swing high, if by that third iteration over 9 is still equal to true, then we made it through all 3 iterations, meaning that all 3 instances of the swing high are over 9. Over the 9-period moving average. Let's see. If over 9 equals true, then plot 2. I'm going to plot it at the high. Red. I think that's what I want. And then when we get done with this, we need to make sure that we set. Yeah, that's fine. Now, if it's over the 9, then over 9 equals true. Else, over 9 equals false. Okay. I think that works. Oh, over 9, we need to declare. All right. Hey, where begin? Okay, so this is what I was talking about. So while over 9 is equal to true, or x is less than or equal to 2, true 2, where begin. So I don't need to put a semicolon. Behold that at 9. Remember, when we're bringing something out of a vector, we have to say what type it is as type double, because it's a price. Yeah, I figured I was going to run into that. If behold.count. Remember, we're looking at 3 items within the vhold vector. So we need the count to at least have 3. So if the count is greater than 2, which means it is 3 because the vector's count is going to be an integer. So if it's greater than 2, then we can do this statement. All right. Come back over here, turn this on. Just the one, just the one. Style. Where's 2 at? Cross that. Okay. All right. That's a lot of pluses. Tell you what, instead of holding, it's going to be the most recent 3. I feel like there's a plus on every single candle. And it is. You know what? This has nothing to do with over 9 here. This is just putting a true on every single candle. So the while statement isn't doing what we wanted to do. While if the count is greater than 2, then while over 9 is equal to true, or x is less than or equal to 2, yeah, gosh, man, these loops, I feel like it needs to be an and, but that's gonna screw it up, I'm sure. Wow, over 9 is equal to true, or so we definitely want x to be less than or equal to 2. Over 9. Over 9. Let's just take that out, because we're staying in the loop because of the number of iterations. So we don't need to deal with the over 9. However, once we get into the iterations here, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, okay, so this can be false coming into the loop. You know what? One thing I've done in the past, so if the high is over the 9, then over 9 is equal to true, else over 9 equals false. So if all 3 aren't true, then we need to kick out of this loop and say over 9 is equal to false. So if just one of them is false, so else if over 9 is equal to false, then we can just go ahead and kick out. Over 9 is equal to true, else over 9 is equal to false. Because what happens is, even if the second iteration is equal to false, but then the third iteration is equal to true, when it comes out of the loop, it's going to be saying that the final iteration, that third iteration, is equal to true, so it's going to give us a plot. And I don't need to hold all these values. I only need to hold 3. Then over 9 is equal to true, else begin over 9 equal to false, and x is equal to 4. Now 4 is greater than 3, so that will then end the while statement, and it will end the while statement while over 9 is holding the false value. All right. Now we get nothing. If ehold.count is greater than 2, so if it's greater than 3, then we're going to pop 1. So then we'll only have 3. So if ehold.count is greater than 2, then while x is less than or equal to 2, which it starts off as 0 here, so that's fine. Behold.x is 0. And then x plus equals to 1. Eesh. It's not possible that there are no instances where they're all over the 9-period moving average, because I see one right here. I've got to get this. Okay, let's just make sure that we are coming into this statement. One way we can do that is just by saying that then print 1. It's fine, but then this is just going to run. Yeah. Okay, so it didn't print 1 at all, right? So we're not even coming into this statement. So behold.count greater than equal to greater than 2. Sure it is. Behold.count. If behold.count is greater than 3, then we're going to pop 1. Am I popping too many? What am I doing here? Behold.count. vhold.count. This is my error. All right, I'll tell you what. Let's just print what is the count. Let's do that. Let's do that. We're gonna outsmart it. And to print the count, how many things you have in, or items you have in a vector, you do vhold.count.toString, and then you got open close brackets, just like that. Look at that. I got 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1. How come I don't have any? All right, let's get rid of the pop statement altogether. Okay, and I still only got like 0, 1. What is going on? Oh, well, I'm getting the 1 from here. I'm getting the 1 from here. So let's get rid of that. So print vhold.count is a bunch of zeros and ones. Swing high of 1. Swing high. All right. Let's print the SH. The swing high. Okay, so we're getting values there. Again, I told you when we get new values, the swing high value will be there. And then if there's not a new swing high value, if there's not a swing high value, it'll just say -1. So we are getting the swing high values. Why are a bunch of them? Okay. All right, that makes sense. All right, so we are getting SHs. So when we get, if SH is greater than 0, so we have a new SH, then we're going to begin, we're going to insert that new value into the 0 index position. What are we going to insert? We're going to insert the value of SH, and then we're going to plot the high. So every time we get a plot here, we're inserting a new value into the vhold. So how come we have only, we're going to do, if it's the last bar on the chart, then print the count. And I'm getting 0. That is bizarre. That's my problem. All right, I know the problem, guys. Again, man, programming is curious. It is curious. You'll learn this one thing, and then you'll get better at it, and then you'll go to the next thing, and then you'll get better at that, and then you go to the next thing, and you'll get better at that, and then when you go back to the first thing, you're like, hey, did I really do this? Like, I need a refresher. And then you go to these other things, and you come back to this one, and you say, what did I do to get that right? Vhold vector. With every single bar, I'm resetting to a new vector. I'm resetting the vector. This is only supposed to happen once. All right, so now when we verify, now we have 9,252 iterations. Okay, all right, so now we can get rid of the pop back. So when we get rid of the pop back, now once we do it, we should only have 4, right? Because we're keeping it at 4. And now we don't need to bring the print statement back in, but we do need to bring this back in. So I'm curious of even that other thing that we had done earlier, what that would have looked like. So, but anyway, it's gone. It's gone. All right, so what do we have here? We got this. We do need that because we need to make sure that we have at least greater than 2 items in the vector before we start going into this while statement. So now if, then, all right, let me go give the dog a bone or something. He's over there yelling. Ooh, so this looks better. At least we don't have one on every single bar. So, but this isn't quite what we're looking for, because we're looking to get the plots when we have had the last 3 swing highs to be over the 9. I guess that is technically that's it. Okay, well, maybe this works. You see, we have here this swing high, and this swing high. I guess technically they're all over the 9-period moving average, right? And this black line is the simple period moving average of the 9. It's not the exponential moving average, exponential period moving average of the 9. So it's going to be a little bit different, and so that's fine. But so after you get this 1, 2, 3 over, now you have these red crosses come up here. All right, it's the wifey calling. So admire the screen while I chat. Okay, so I gotta go. Wifey wants me to drive her across town. This is what happens when you don't have anything to do all day but code. And yeah. So anyway, so we have these 1, 2, this 1, 2, and 3 swing highs above the 9-period moving average. So this next bar fires off, and so we're going down. I think one of the things that we could probably say is we can take this as a potential short. I don't know if the 9-period moving average is down sloping. I don't know. Again, I was just trying to come up with something so that we could put it on the strategy and see what we get. But let's say if over 9 is equal to true and the XA9 is less than XA9 of 2 bars ago, which just means that the 9-period moving average is lower than it was before, so it's down sloping, or at least has at some point. So we have these, we have this, we have all these. These would have been like a false signal to get in to go short. This is what I was looking for, right? So when I kind of put this together, when I was coming up with this in my head, I was looking for this drop, and I was looking for this drop. So I got all these other ones too, and I don't think that they're terrible. I mean, honestly, they all are kind of, for the most part, indicating that we're going down, except for like here, right? I mean, so I think this is something that's viable to use to trade with. I don't know, but I've got to go before I get in trouble. So you guys play around with what you see here, and let me know what you think. Put something in the comments, and we'll come up with some better strategies and everything together. I'm gonna save this, and I mean, you see it there. I did it on here with you. It's not super complex. So if you do use this and you get something out of it, by all means, let me know. And subscribe, guys. Jesus, subscribe. I know programming isn't something that everybody gets into, but come on, man. Somebody's got to be interested in this stuff. All right, I'm Eric. I'm out. Peace.